It sounds like a dream trip, a 47-day cruise around the South Pacific. But my old mate, adventurer Don McIntyre, doesn't like to do things the easy, conventional way. This time, he got it into his head to reenact the epic voyage of Captain William Bligh after the infamous mutiny on the Bounty. Set adrift off Tonga in a boat scarcely larger than a dinghy, Bligh made it all the way to West Timor, some 4,000 nautical miles. Don set off in a faithful replica of that longboat, packed with minimal rations and no map. He even short-sheeted himself on toilet paper. Little wonder his fellow adventurers were on the verge of their own mutiny for most of the voyage. A tiny sail in a massive ocean, and a voyage across the headlands of time.
We're as close as we've ever been to Bligh, so I feel as if we can reach out and touch him, so we're getting close.
Before this journey is through,
I feel like absolute shit at the moment.
Australian adventurer Don McIntyre and his crew will experience mutiny
I'm going home.
And adventure.
But these clouds have come across big time now.
In echoes of Bligh's original voyage back in 1789.
Had a really bad knockdown. Mate, if we don't have adventure, we don't have real people, and if we don't have real people, the Australian culture and who we are is going to disappear, and we'll all turn into a bunch of plebs. I mean, it's not for everyone, but there needs to be people out there that are achievers.
And so Don set his sights on one of the greatest seafaring tales in history, the mutiny on the Bounty, when Captain William Bligh was banished by a rebellious crew led by Fletcher Christian.
You're a dead man, Fletcher.
Dead man, sir.
On the boat, sir.
Reenactment of that perilous journey in an open whaleboat with merely a week's provisions, a compass, and no charts for navigation.
Well, I shall have to navigate from memory.
I got the idea to do it just like Bligh, or as close as you can get. Not enough food, not enough water, no toilet paper, no charts. And so that was the different dimension for us.
This is time travelling, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
You can follow us on the web. Come on, row, you buggers, row! Arr! Arr! Arr!
And on April 29, following in the wake of Bligh, Don left Tonga aboard this tiny 7-metre replica boat. With him, a crew of 3. Marine architect Dave Price is one of Australia's most experienced yachtsmen.
It's risky and the boat's small, but that's the attraction. Anybody can drive across the ocean in an ocean liner.
But Dave Wilkinson, a financial whiz from Hong Kong, was not at all at home on the ocean waves.
The best way I can describe it, you know, in my day-to-day life at home in Hong Kong, I'm the master of my field. I was incredibly vulnerable. I wasn't the master of anything.
And Chris Wilde, a young kid from the English counties, is here after answering an ad in the paper. Chris, you were a first-time sailor.
Yeah, literally, the first time I've ever been on a boat. Stuck in English countryside, not really any water around, so it never came into my lifestyle. So I thought, well,
Why is the question?
Well, first time for everything.
The challenge for this motley crew to sail west from Tonga, across the South Pacific to the Great Barrier Reef, then north around Cape York and across the Arafura Sea to Kupang in West Timor, a distance of 4,000 nautical miles. This would be a contest between 2 boats, centuries apart, under the same primitive constraints and facing the same unforgiving elements.
But these clouds have come across big time now. Just had a really bad knockdown and filled the cockpit again. The boat was on its side, the mast went underwater.
Then there's the reality of having to expose yourself to the angry sea when nature's call has to be answered.
He wants to come in, but there's no room.
On this tiny boat, with no room to swing a ship's cat,
Can't even move.
the cramped confinement, physical discomfort, and the Spartan diet presented almost as big a challenge as the life-threatening dangers of the voyage.
Corned beef, corned beef, corned beef, corned beef. Baked beans.
Don's crew had to survive on the same ration as Bligh's.
Look at that.
So they set out with only 2 weeks' water
That's all we got till tomorrow morning.
and a strictly limited supply of bully beef and sea biscuits. It soon became a source of great conflict.
No, this is my portion.
Yeah, you don't throw it away. It's fucking
No,
pointless.
I do what I want with my food.
Oh, you're such a fucking childish.
Yeah, okay, there's no need to be rude.
Yeah, it is, because it's fucking irritating.
Well, can't you control yourself?
No, you get on my nerves so fucking much. And
Why?
it's just because you're irritating as
Why?
Oh, just keep it up. I'm gonna fucking plant one in your fucking nose in there.
And in fact, it was only a week into the voyage, after the boat had pulled into a Fijian island for repairs, that another Bligh mutiny surfaced. Dave Wilkinson, the Hong Kong financier, was fed up and wanted out.
What's happening, Dave?
I'm going home.
You what?
I'm going home. I'm jumping ship. I've got diarrhea, feel sick. So enough's enough.
You know, it's not much fun. I'm really weak and lethargic. We all are. And I keep telling everyone that not to think about what we don't have or what we have to put up with. Think about what we've got. We've got a bloody good little boat. We've got plenty of food to survive on. It's not going to kill us. And if we are out there like Bligh doing it tough, he'd think we're a bunch of pussies with all the stuff we've got on board, you know.
Reluctantly, Dave was persuaded to continue across the Pacific in the wash of the original Bligh.
I feel like absolute shit at the moment.
And if a near mutiny wasn't trying enough, Don McIntyre was suffering from kidney stones.
Started early this morning. I went for a pee at 9 o'clock and felt the steely pains just above my penis.
Like all things, Don's kidney stones would eventually pass.
Everyone's getting a little bit antsy on some issues.
But not the simmering tension between the Hong Kong high flyer Wilkinson,
The most disgraceful food a human being could ever consume.
his world a master of the universe, and McIntyre, the master of the bounty.
Goodness that you're going to get.
With all due respect, with the corned beef and shit you've been serving us,
Yeah,
don't
it's
talk
meant
me
to be
about
shit.
nutrients.
It's meant to be shit. It's
No,
a
no,
lot
yeah, but
better.
Don't then talk to me about nutrients and about doing it for the better of our health.
No,
because it's
no,
bullshit.
no. I'm talking about survival nutrients.
No. You're
Yes, I am.
bullshit, though.
But it takes a hard man, doesn't it, to get a rig like this across the Pacific?
It takes a bastard.
A bastard. To cross the Pacific and reach the Great Barrier Reef was an epic nautical achievement for Bligh's crew, and no less exciting a milestone for Don and his intrepid team.
You four blokes can have no idea how good you look.
Hang on, it's the weight that's got. It's the bounty box. You don't know like that.
Mate, I've known you for years. I've never seen you look so fit.
It was nearly 5 weeks into their voyage,
We're just going over the top of some reef we stumbled across, had less than a metre under the keel.
and even though they were running days behind Bligh, they still had to go where he had gone. And that meant stopping at a remarkable little place that Bligh named Restoration Island.
Captain Bligh would recognise.
Oh, sure. Come back 221 years later, and here it is.
Today, the island is in the care of a 21st century castaway, Dave Glasheen, an ex-Sydney businessman who loves this place as much as he loves its history.
How has this little bit of paradise been preserved over 200 years?
Well, by people who have been here respecting it and understanding what a beautiful place it is. And I do every night. I sit at the beach and think of what Bligh was doing and even the early people before him. And it's been like this for millions of years.
Well, you're its custodian. It's
Oh yes, I'm very attached to this land, and I'm part of this land. I will die here.
It was on this island 2 centuries ago that Bligh made a hearty stew of native birds and vegetables, a meal that did much to ensure the survival of his men.
So by the time they got here, Bligh refers to some of his men as being in a really bad state, and when they left, he says this stop saved a group of his men. He doesn't say who, but some of them were in a bad way.
He gave the island that wonderful name, Restoration Island.
Yeah.
This is absolutely delicious. All my complaining about boiling the chicken.
Thanks, Charlie.
Good on you, mate.
Good job.
Good breezes. You've got a good breeze.
Bloody oath.
Definitely.
Cheers, Charlie.
Good on you for continuing.
Thank you.
Because otherwise it could have been me.
While I was more than happy to farewell them with my feet firmly planted in the sand, it was a time to contemplate what cautious and unexciting lives most of us lead, while just a brave few are out there pitting themselves against the odds, like Jessica Watson, the Australian round-the-world girl whom Don mentored, and Chris, the landlocked English boy whom Don watched grow into a mariner.
You know, as you know, I just like getting young people into adventure because it is so integral to developing their character, and it was amazing to watch Chris develop like that. And I've been doing it by remote control, talking about it and hoping the world of young people listen. And it was fantastic to be involved with Jessica because I knew that was happening. But all of a sudden, I just watched it happen with Chris, you know, from start to finish.
This is Brian the booby. Landed on my arm. We're just chilling, having a chat, sharing stories. Well, before I set off, I was kind of just coasting. Like, I wasn't really pushing myself in any particular area. I was demotivated.
You consider yourself a lucky man then?
Beyond lucky. It's the strange, the smallest decisions have just vast consequences. It's because I could have just not picked up the paper that day and I wouldn't be where I am. So yeah, so lucky.
In the end, across enormous reaches of time and sea, the modern bounty boat took 6 hours longer to complete the voyage to Kupang than Bligh did. Perhaps they could have beaten his time of 48 days, but in Don McIntyre's view, that would have been disrespectful to the memory of the great navigator, who, 15 years after the bounty, went on to become Governor of New South Wales. Captain Bligh!
How are you?
Well done!
Fancy seeing you here. Good to see you.
Fletcher Christian said you'd never make it.
Oh, well, you know, some things in life just have to happen, you know.
G'day,
Bloody good
fellas.
to be here, though. Really
Well
good.
done.
Thanks a lot.
You're champions. Mad, but champions.
Okay, Charlie. Good to see you, mate.
McBligh, you've done it again.
Well, something like that, you know, someone had to do it. It's a pretty good tip.
How happy is this bloke that he made it?
You should have heard him out here. We had a current. He said, can't we go now, Skip? Can't we go now? This guy's so impatient, but he's a bloody great. Yeah, he's been good value.
I suppose you're thinking about a beer.
I was thinking about a cup of tea, actually.
A voyage like this isn't everyone's cup of tea, but in retrospect, as the mutinous financier Dave Wilkinson discovered, it can be quite revealing. And do you like the person you've discovered?
Oh yeah, not all of it. Not all of it. I'm a bit too spoiled. You know, I have a very privileged life in Hong Kong.
But you know that now.
I know that now, and I'm not going to get rid of it. I'm just going to appreciate it a lot more. I have no desire to start with doing my own washing, to get back to it. But I will appreciate it a lot more.
You know, anyone can do anything if you really want to do it. You just got to have a dream, and you've got to realise the dream can come true. You just get out there and have a go.
Well, it's not a bad achievement for an ordinary bloke. Thank you very much. Well done.
Oh, well, there's more to come. Stand by.
Hello, I'm Amelia Adams. Thanks for watching 60 Minutes Australia. Subscribe to our channel now for our brand new stories and exclusive clips every week. And don't miss out on our extra minute segments and full episodes of 60 Minutes on 9now.com.au and the 9Now app.